It's your boy, Coach MUEL. I'm official like a referee with a whistle. I'm coaching you on the rules of your game, and I'm showing you how to win at them. Today we got a special video. Every single video is special because today we're going to be talking about how to overcome toxic habits. And the first thing that I want to mention all about if that habit is helping you get closer to your goal or it's holding you back. What makes me credible to give you guys the information as someone who had formerly toxic habits themselves and has been able to overcome over time. I now want you guys to have the resources, the information that I used and the tools that I used to be able to overcome those habits. It took me a long time to realize that smoking and drinking and all the things that I was doing wasn't beneficial for me, but it was a lesson that I could not learn the first time, and I'm not expecting you to learn it the first time either. So these are my former toxic habits, and this is the capstone of the presentations from last week. We had 4 presentations last week. There was one day that we weren't able to give a presentation. This caps off the first 5 presentations. I want you guys to go watch the first 4. We talked about greed, we talked about lover of money, being lustful, and now the one that really is going to provide more tools to help you overcome your toxic habits. And this is the presentation for you right here. So what we repeatedly do I didn't know if smoking, I didn't know if drinking, I didn't know if social media, I didn't know if all these things were contributing to my goals or if they were taken away from them. And the reason why I didn't know is because I didn't spend time and I didn't even have goals in the first place, right? I was a D3 basketball player. I transferred because I thought that the skill set that I had was going to be more beneficial for a team that had more openings, right? And basically what I'm saying is I wanted more playing time. And I know if you play a sport right now, we all want more playing time. Even if we're playing 40 minutes a game, there's always something that we want more. That's just a mindset that a lot of athletes and a lot of people stay in because we are ungrateful for what we have. And I fought these losing battles over and over and over again. What I realized after I transferred and it really didn't turn out like I wanted to, I got down to a school in North Carolina. I was seeking friendship and I was seeking teammates, but I ended up just being and separating myself, right? And not truly connecting with my teammates. And the reason why is because I lacked confidence. I was in a new environment. I didn't believe in myself down there. My creativity was limited, or at least I thought it was, because I wasn't being put in the game. And if I tried something, maybe it didn't work out the first time and I just threw it to the side. I know you guys have that one move that you've been trying for years now, like an in and out cross, in between, behind, that one move that you always just wanted to master, and you try to use it in the game, you try to use it in practice. Maybe the one time you do get it and you score, your coach says, don't do that move again, right? And that may, to you, feel like your creativity is limited and that your coach is holding you back. But in reality, you are not able to repeatedly and efficiently do that move and reach the desired result, which is to score or to get a touchdown, to get on base, right? So you haven't proven that you are able to do that, and that holds us back. But we'll save that for the end, right? I lacked all these things. I realized that I had a talent and I had a skill set for never quitting and never giving up on myself. As you guys can see here, I had started playing basketball and I was a pretty average basketball player my entire life. I always trained, I always had the best trainers, I had the best shoes, I had the best gear, right? And that still did not help me play better, right? I know you guys have the Kyries, the Giannis's, all the special shoes that really just look good and don't help your game. And I was that type of player too. I had a bunch of shoes and I would just take it for granted. And what I was really doing was doing it for the fashion, for real. I wasn't out on the court to help the team reach the desired goal. I was out there selfishly, and I was out there either thinking I was gonna get a bucket, thinking I was gonna, get some assists, thinking I was going to get some rebounds and get some personal statistics. But really, I did not have that skill set to do that. So I was just out there playing JV basketball, overweight freshman, overweight eighth grader, not really caring too much about basketball itself or the goal of the team. And as I started to become more athletically inclined, losing weight, I played football one summer. I was on JV, I was a quarterback. It was the best time I ever had because it was the first time in my life where I was doing it for the love of the game and doing it for the love of my teammates and doing it just to go out there and have fun and throw 6 interceptions a game. And my coach would call running plays, and I would motion for the 2 to come across, and I would just take the ball and run for myself and score touchdowns, right? And then I go to coach and I'd be like, I don't know what happened. I fumbled the snap. I had to take off, right? Whole time I really was just, having fun out there doing my thing. And then from there I started to get more athletically inclined. I started to lose weight and I started to become more aggressive towards my goal. Whole time I never really had an athletic goal for myself. I was just like, man, it'd be nice to play basketball in college, but I don't even know what that looks like. I'm struggling to get on the court right now. I was on JV my junior season. Didn't really have any progression or any communication between my coaches if I was going to progress or not because I didn't care. I was playing JV football my senior season. So that shows you how much I didn't care about basketball because I wasn't willing to play, all year round, train, go to the preseason workouts. I just wanted to have fun. And once I started to have fun, once I started to love the game and just love being around my teammates, then I started to get some playing time. Right here, I'm ripping this dude, the skinny man. I probably got a foul called on me, and that's what I started to get known for. So basketball turned out how I thought it was, which was nothing at all. We placed second in districts, and during that time, I had lost so much confidence because I didn't put in the work. So during the beginning of the season, I got my opportunity, I got my chance to start. I was playing a bunch, I was hustling, I was doing everything possible to help my team win. Got complacent and then sat the bench for the rest of the season. Didn't even get to play during the playoffs. Was just like a good teammate, but I held my head and I just clapped for my teammates. We made it all the way. I wanted the people who were gonna make the game plan and make the team win or help the team win the most to play. Deep down, I didn't even really know or didn't even really want to be out there on the court because I felt like if I'm out there, I could mess up and we could hurt our team's chances of winning. And that just comes down to preparation. But after I stopped playing basketball, I went to school, I took a gap year. I went back to school and I had a preparation year, right? So I was looking to walk on randomly, right? Random goal just to walk on to a D1 school. And I was like, let's do it. Like, let's just walk on and see what happens, right? Nothing happened there. I started training because my competition, like my competitive spirit was back. I wanted to be around my teammates and I was like, I'm going to go for this goal of playing basketball again. I had nothing to lose. I was at a school around friends who I didn't really vibe with or mesh with. We didn't really have any relationship. And I was like, I have nothing to lose. Like, I might as well go see if I can play basketball somewhere and, be around my teammates. And at this point, I kind of had, as I mentioned before in the other story times, I had this knowing in the front of my mind that basketball was something that I enjoyed and I was doing it for a specific reason. Now I knew I wanted to be around my teammates. I wanted to just have the automatic friends, right? Because that's what I always did. I went to the park, I played a bunch, and I made friends there. So sports was my way of making friends. And I realized from there that I had to start eliminating the things that were holding me back, but it was such a slow process that only now am I able to take on new things and take on new missions and take on new side quests because I have so much more clarity. I have so much more free time, right? And I also never quit. So on top of never quitting basketball, on top of continuing to go after my goal, I continue to also go after the other goals that I had of eliminating these toxic habits. So I didn't stop the first time when I realized that vaping and smoking weed was hurting my grades, hurting my chances of playing college basketball, hurting my, my GPA, my chances of graduation. I didn't stop the first time because I still liked it, right? It was fun for a little bit smoking. It was fun for a little bit drinking. But it wasn't until I really started to become affected mentally, physically, emotionally by the negative, toxic habits that I was doing that I really had no other choice but to change. And sometimes we have no other choice but to change, And we get to a point in our lives where as our backs are up against the wall. I was at Drexel University before I transferred. I was flunking out because I was smoking and not doing my homework. I was on academic probation and had to apply to get back into school and go undecided business. I had no other choice but to eliminate these habits and figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life, figure out what I was going to major in, figure out how I was going to play college basketball, get a trainer, stay in the gym, and focus on what was really important. But a lot of you guys are at the point where you haven't had that moment, or you have had that moment where your back was up against the wall. You made a couple of good decisions, but things are still not working. What you need to do now is keep going on that same mission and use that momentum to finally break through those toxic habits and push through to the other side. Because once you get on the other side and you look at yourself and you see how far you've come, it's not going to be a victory. It's going to be a keep going moment, right? Because now you're going to have so much more space. You're going to have so much more courage. You're going to have so much more discipline. You're going to have all these good values that you can now use from breaking the bad ones to fuel to your ultimate goal, whatever that is. And maybe you don't know that yet. Maybe you do. But first you have to eliminate the things that are stopping you. And in this PowerPoint, or in this slide right here, we are all works in progresses. This is not a me work in progress. This is not a you work in progress. This is a we are all work in progresses. And you have to start calling yourself out when you are bullshitting. You need to start holding yourself accountable. You need to take a step back, start analyzing the things that you're doing, start writing out your daily tasks, start writing out your daily activities, what you did from the moment you woke up to the moment you went to sleep. Start tracking every single thing, no matter how annoying it is, no matter how detailed it is. Went to the bathroom, took a shit, didn't wash my hands. Took a pee, didn't wash my hands. Then I came in here, I touched the keyboard, I touched the mouse, and I licked my fingers and got dookie in my mouth. Write down as much as you can remember. Write down as much as you perceive, right? And then start looking at that at the end of the day and seeing, did all this contribute to my goal, or did it subtract from it, right? And you may not know because you don't have a goal yet, but that's the next slide. Stay tuned. You have to get to know yourself throughout this process, and how you will get to know yourself is by seeing your daily actions, seeing what you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, tracking as much as possible, even just, taking a voice note or writing it down in a journal or doing a recording, or just, record your day one day. If you are